Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange radio show.
Any trouble, because I get into any trouble, but I had a problem that this then became a discussion at that workplace environment. Now, the discussion was I should have been more sensitive. In what way was my first response?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show with your boy, Brother Mike. I will be your host today, and I'm here with my co-host,
Make sure
the
your mic's
lovely
on.
Miss Janice.
So ready? The mic on?
Yeah.
Try now.
Okay, yeah, it's on now. All right, let's try this again. What's up, family? Welcome to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show with your host, your boy, Brother Mike, and I am here with my co-host and partner in consciousness, the lovely Miss Janice. How you doing today, Miss Janice?
Very good. What
Very
about
good.
you?
I'm good. No complaints. Another day in the land of the living. We're back with another exciting show. So let's just clue them in from the beginning what today's show is going to be about. So today's show, we want it to be something positive. So we're going to go over 25 tips for a beautiful life, right? Tips on things you can do in your life, changes you can make to make sure that you are living a beautiful life. 2019 has definitely zoomed by us, and we're getting into the last quarter of it, so we want to make sure we come back and give you some inspirational words to help you live a better life. And I want to take time out to plug my brother, Dwayne, DJ Big Man Harrison. I want to say happy 50th birthday. We had an awesome surprise birthday party for him that my mother put together. It was a great time, and it's nice to have my brother reach the age of 50. So that's what's up.
Happy belated birthday, Dwayne.
Happy birthday, big brother. All right, so like I said, today we're going to give you 25 tips for a beautiful life. I'm going to go ahead and start sending out some invites so you guys can hang out with us today. But make sure you guys check us out at blackbottomman.com. Remember, buy is spelled B-U-Y. Check out our latest apparel. And for those who want to participate in the crowdfunding and helping us keep everything going, you can check us out at patreon.com/brothermikebBD, where you can become a patron for as little as $1 per month. And we appreciate all our patrons, and we want to say shout out to them and thank you for being with us and helping us out. So I'm going to send out some invites. We got anything going on in current events? Anything good?
First, before I get to current events, I would like to ask for those who are who will watch the show today, if you could participate, because I love to know what other people are doing for some tips for a good life.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
I love to get some other ideas on this. I know what I do, but
let's hear what you guys think is good advice for a good life. Let's see if it matches up with what we're going to be talking about here today. So I'm going to go ahead and send out some invites here, see if we can get some folks to join us.
So one current event that I have, this one was a little close to me, because this was like in Fairfax, Virginia. That's a little close to home for me. As to my daughter lives in Virginia, but at one of the schools there was a 12-year-old girl that was attacked, and her dreads were cut. And that was by 3 white males who did that. But she didn't go straight home, to tell her parents or anything about that, which concerned me a little bit. Because do you think like kids, are they getting the idea that it's nothing their parents can do about this?
I think so.
Are they starting to feel like this? Because then that's bad. Because now our kids know that their parents can't help them. That you can just get attacked like that, get your hair cut, and I know she had to feel awful and not be able to go straight home and share that.
Right. Yeah, I think
a couple days later that her grandma noticed.
I think that is a part of it, because even when you look back with the young man at the wrestling tournament where they cut his dreads live right there in front of everybody, it took a minute before it sunk in on him what they actually did to him. And I think it is a standard that's being set in place where when these type of terrorist acts, because that's what it is, it's a terrorist act of racism, is being brought against our children are losing confidence that anyone's actually going to be held accountable for it.
But, and then at 12 years old to go through such an ordeal like this, I mean, this got to break a parent's heart to know, that your child been through this, and then you have no idea that, she had that experience today. Right.
Yeah, I actually did see the video on that. The young lady was definitely upset. She was crying. Her mother was upset, which she should have been. One of the questions that I think we have to address is, what is it about our natural hair our natural appearance that is becoming so intimidating for certain individuals. You know what I mean? Like, what is that all about? And I definitely have my perspective of what it's all about. I think if you go back through slavery, up through Jim Crow, up through redlining, unbeknownst to a lot of us, but a part of us integrating into dominant society was we were not allowed to show that we were happy with our life, right? We weren't allowed to show that we were proud. This is why in the civil rights movement, you had people like James Brown who made a song called "I'm Black and I'm Proud." And that's what he was rebelling against, this stigma that they place on us, where we're not allowed to be proud of who we are. You know what I mean? Because it's like so many people within European society work so hard to make sure that we're unhappy. You understand what I mean? And we did everything to try to be like them and look like them, put conch in our hair, comb it backwards, that when we got away from that, they're offended. Like, how dare you? How dare you wave your natural blackness in my face? You know what I mean? Because for these particular racist individuals, for them, it means something totally different than what it does for us. For us, it's just being proud to be black. But for them, it's some type of stance of rebelliousness, black power, and they think they're going to lose something. But at the end of the day, you got people on this planet that don't want black people, black Americans in particular, being proud to be a black American.
I'm going to have to agree with that because I know when I was once asked about, my natural hair and what was the best feeling that, I got from my natural hair. And I told them, like, with my natural hair, I'm at my proudest.
Yes.
So I have to agree with what you said because when I have my natural hair, I'm just too much.
Right. Yeah,
I feel like I'm unstoppable at that point.
As you should.
I'm at my most powerful self.
As you should.
At that point.
This is a society where at one point, and I mentioned this on a previous show, where they had laughing barrels on the corners, because if black people were walking down the street and telling a joke, and you were laughing, and another white person was walking towards you, you was not allowed to have that white person see your teeth, see you smiling, seeing you be happy, because they were working very hard to give you a miserable life. So for them, it was a slap in the face. How dare you be happy? How dare you be, content with your life, and we're working so hard to make your life miserable. So this stigma, it still lingers on with a lot of white Americans, especially the older white Americans. So for some of them, if you look at the state of, say, black women today, right? A lot of hair weaves, a lot of makeup, things like that. The last time these people saw a black woman standing proud was in the days of Angela Davis, with her afro, with her right fist up. So whenever they see black people, black women in particular, with their natural hair, this is what they flash back to. Like, oh my God, they're about to start that black power stuff up again. We can't have them feeling themselves. In the slave days, this is what they called a spirited Negro. They did not like spirited Negroes. They did not like Negroes that were proud to be a Negro. So this is the offense that is causing upon them. And I think we need to address that, because no one wants to speak on why is this happening. Like, we talk about it happening, but I haven't seen any other outlets other than the BBD radio show actually speak upon why do these people feel this way. It's intimidating to them.
It is, and it's very, very concerning, because at 12 years old, it's already embedded in her to have some type of fear.
Yes.
So.
Of looking like herself.
Right. And then fear, of other races that she didn't even want to tell, because she felt like it was going to be some type of retaliation.
Right.
So just imagine, as 12, you're only 12, but growing up, she's going to grow up as a young lady with still these same feelings. And from here, it might just get worse.
Yes, it will.
We don't step in and kind of educate her on it now.
Absolutely.
This is why our kids should be educated from the beginning.
Yes.
Because something like this should never happen, and the first thing you do is run home and tell your family. Like, they should be the first ones you get home to tell.
Absolutely.
Like, it shouldn't be 2 days later when grandmother pretty much have to look at you and see something that's
see something wrong with her baby. What's wrong with my grandchild?
So our kids should know immediately to come home and tell their parents, because there is something we can do about it.
Right. Yes, there is. I'm with you. I've spoke on this on plenty of times. on other shows where we have to be truthful with our children and let them know what they are actually up against out here in this society. But listen, we're up on our first break. Stay with us. It's the BBD Radio Show. We're talking current events, but we will be back to go over today's topic, which is 25 tips to living a beautiful life. We'll be back after this.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive. Next stop, Texaco. Strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go.
Nigga chose by another nigga, bitch. Damn, this chopper got 50 round clip. So this Molly and the syrup got me geeking, shorty. Ain't know I popped them Xannies, had them sleeping on me. Love in a hood full of hate. Pray to God that he open up them gates. Rest in peace to Freddie Gray and Lil Scooter. Putting on for our city, watch his door. Next stop, Texaco. Strapped up.
Thought you was gonna have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio. It is what it is, 9/11.
Are they ready to? I know they're not ready to accept it, but yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. Like, how many of them are really ready to think about it like that?
None.
You know, like
I think the problem is like I don't even know how we got here, but it's inbred. Mm-hmm. You're not born to hate people. You're not born to distinguish between black and white and Asian and Hispanic. That's something that you're taught. You're taught, point blank, period.
Straight up.
My daughter came home and told me that her white teacher was black. Maybe it's because it's how she treated her. She don't see any color. But when it comes to all her friends, all her friends are mixed. All of her friends have a white parent, black, African, Hispanic, other parent.
So
children don't see color. You breed your children. I'm not breed.
Right.
You raise your children to see that.
Yeah, most definitely.
They don't see racism.
Well, I guess
I met a little girl who had a black doll, and she said because the black dolls are prettier than the white dolls. But then I've taken a black doll and a white doll and put it in front of two kids. And it's a study that they've done before. You put it in front of two kids, and you put it in front of a kid, and you ask them, which one is the nice one?
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/80.
Whatever happened to the times when we cared for one another? We share the same respect. What is happening? We're trading what's important for sure.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, so welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show. In case you missed it from the top, get a little tongue-tied. Today's show is going to be on 25 tips to live a beautiful life. We was currently going over current events, and we were discussing the young lady that was held down by, multiple white students, and they cut her dreadlocks, and just how terrible that our children are facing this. And the fact that she was somewhat reluctant, at least it seems, to even tell her mother what had happened to her, you know. So are our children being put in a position where they're starting to realize, is it even worth me even telling my parents? Can we even do anything about it? And I think we also have to address, why are certain white people feeling so intimidated by black people being proud of their natural state of their hair? And then 2, the fact that it was done by kids that were her peers. So this shows you what is being taught at home still to this very day within some, not all, some white households. And this is the results of it. You know, so at what point are we as parents, grandparents, going to tell our children the truth about this society that we live in? This is the only way that we can begin to protect them, through our black education. There are people out here who are their enemies. I've said it numerous amount of times. We know it doesn't apply to everyone, so we're not using a broad brush and painting, you know, the whole European race of people, but we are specifically targeting those who are racist. And unfortunately in America, I believe it's a larger percentage versus a lesser percentage. You know, so we're going to have to start being truthful with our kids, and we're going to have to start going hard at when our children experience these things, because let's just play the devil's advocate here, right? Let's use our imaginations for a minute. What if this would have been 3 black girls who held down a little white girl and cut her hair? Y'all already know. I ain't even got to say how that's going to go down. You get what I mean? This would have been not a local issue, not a national issue. It would have been an international issue. This would have been on everything, and they would have dug up everything on them black kids, from their uncle who went to jail when he was 14, you get what I mean, to their grandmother that stole a lollipop when she was, you know, 17. Like, it's ridiculous. But don't get me on this, because I'll get to rolling on this.
It's a whole nother show.
It's a whole nother show.
Yeah, and plus with this, it goes so deep. It's much deeper than the hair. Like, you know, we hid our natural hair for years, but you know, I would like to know, you know, what else do we hide about ourselves? You know, whole nother show. Right. But I'm gonna move on. But this was very concerning and disappointing.
Very disturbing, right?
To me. So I'm gonna go down to Atlanta, Georgia, where the teacher was fired after writing a note saying that, you know, the black kids were devils and the white kids were angels.
Oh my God.
On the note, she had, you know, like all the names of, you know, the black student.
Right.
And they were devils.
And who was she giving this note to?
I'm not sure.
Not sure?
But one of the classmates, one of the students took a picture of it and, you know, took it home to their parents.
Right. Wow. And, you know, and it's interesting to hear the word devil, because again, if you dig through history and do the research, you will find out that this is one of the propaganda tactics that was being taught to other white people all throughout the existence in the United States, which is that black people are devils and then white people are angels. Now, what I'm about to say, people may think it's left field, but you got to understand how psychological warfare works, right? And how propaganda works. Okay, so you're saying that the teacher wrote that the blacks are the devils and the whites are angels. All right. Is that not different, or not the same, I should say, as cake? Angel food cake is white. Devil's food cake is black. Do you understand what I'm saying? They do this in more things than what people actually realize. You get what I'm saying? You know, like, it's a way of word association. You associate mainly negativity when it comes to the color black, and then you associate positivity when it comes to the color white. Right? Okay. A killer whale, which, by the way, does not kill anything. Okay. Killer whales eat little fish, right? But it's black. So it's called a killer whale, right? The great shark in the ocean, who is the devil of the ocean. Everything in the ocean is scared of a white shark. It's white. They call it great. It's the great white shark, and then you got the killer whale, which is black. And I know people may think that's stretching, but you have to understand psychological warfare. This is what they've been doing the whole time. You know, like, if you tell a lie, it's just a lie. But if you tell a lie that you felt like you had to tell and it was in the benefit of somebody else, almost a good lie, well, that's called a little white lie, right? You understand what I'm saying? You know, if you get exiled, you don't get whiteballed. You get blackballed. You get blacklisted. See, everything with black is associated with being something negative. So I am not surprised that this is what this teacher did. You know, I could take you down the rabbit hole on this all day, but just know that things are not an accident. It's not an accident on a pool table that the game's not over until you hit the black ball in. And it's the white ball, the cue ball, that leads all the other colors. And you can knock in all the other colors, but if you don't knock that black ball in, you don't win the game. So you miss on the black ball, the other person didn't make no balls. And they come along with the white ball, hit the black ball, and they win the game. So again, I know some people may think that's stretching, but trust me, do a little research on propaganda and psychological warfare, and you're going to find out that all this stuff is actually true.
No, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes,
I like it.
It does. It's a lot that goes into this.
Great information.
I appreciate that. You know, I try to put it out there. You know, I don't learn it just to harbor it. You know what I mean? So I got to share it.
And it's best to share it.
Yeah, it's best to share it. You know, to give people a chance to research it. Like I always tell people, you know, you don't have to take my word for it. Do the research. I provide the information. Check it out for yourself, and then you'll find out if I was right or wrong. But trust me, I know I'm right.
These are things we have to know.
Yeah, these are things we got to know. We have to stop being afraid to face the reality of the society we live in. Okay, so look, we're going to get out of current events and we're going to get into this show. But before we do it, we are up on another break. So stay with us. It's the Black by the Man radio show. We will be back with 25 tips for you to lead a beautiful life. So stay with us.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com. I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do, and I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular, it's getting that person money, it's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like, you know,
the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, so welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show with your boy, Brother Mike, and my lovely host, the lovely Miss Janice. So let's get into today's show. So today we are talking 25 tips to lead a beautiful life. We think this is a good time to do this show because 2019 is zoomed by us, and I'm sure everybody is tripping that we already in fall. You know what I mean? Like,
that's crazy.
It seemed like we was just seeing videos on Facebook with the teachers being excited because school was coming to an end.
Right.
And now school's popping off again, right? We already almost a month into the kids being back to school. So we thought we'd give you some tips today that might help cheer you up. Make sure you participate with us today. Tell us what you think actually leads to a beautiful life. Tips that you have, things you might have done in your life, learned from your parents, your grandparents, your friends, watching motivational speakers, anything that gave you a good tip.
Definitely share.
So let's get into some of these tips, you know, because we got 25 of them, and hopefully we can get through all 25. All right, so number one is take a 10 to 30-minute walk every day, and while you walk, smile. It's the ultimate antidepressant. Let me smile for him. I'm no longer depressed. Smile. So what do you think about that one, Miss Janice? Take a little walk.
Absolutely. Walking always help. What is it? De-stress you.
Yes.
So, and while you walking, yes, smile, because it will make you. It makes you feel a whole lot better.
I think it does make you feel better. Walking allows you to kind of air your mind out.
How can you be depressed if you're smiling?
If you're smiling. Some people, I guess they really have to practice that. You know, it ain't their thing.
You know that's really true.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know it takes less muscles in your face to smile than it does to frown. And I forgot what the numbers was, but it was like crazy. It was like 4 muscles to smile and like 400 to frown.
Oh,
it was like crazy numbers, right? I can't remember the exacts, but it was something along those lines.
That is a lot.
I'll tell you something else with walking, right? This is a little tip, right? Walking is actually better for you than running. Did you know that?
I didn't really know it, but
yes, it is. Running does exercise you, right? And it does exercise your heart. It's very hard on your body. It's very hard on your joints. You know what I mean? It's actually hard on your heart too.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Walking is the best exercise you can do as far as cardio. Now I know we do all kinds of other things, the cycling, the jogging, you know what I mean, the speed walking and all that. But if you do the research, you'll find out that walking is actually the best. You know what I mean? Yes. And I explained that to a person before, and they were actually like, yeah, you know, sometimes when I do my run, you know, the run takes so much out of me, you know, when I get to the end, like I almost feel like I'm dying. And I said, you are. But yeah, just I'm gonna move on from that. You get what I'm saying? But think about it. We've all seen and heard before of people who were like runners their whole life, and then all of a sudden they drop dead one day. That stuff may not be as good for us as we think, but I'll allow you guys to do the research on that. All right, number 2, sit in silence for at least 10 minutes every day. Meditate. Now that one's powerful. That one's not easy to do either. It's not. The walking is actually easier to do than this. Now I'll tell you what I've experienced when I attempt to meditate, right? One of the things that I noticed with meditation is, first of all, my mind is a lot more scattered than I thought. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to focus on a particular thing to calm yourself, and like everything else just goes through your mind, right? Right. And then also, when you do that, you will also suddenly realize just how noisy your environment is. You know what I mean? Like even if you cut off the television, turn the lights down, so forth and so on, and then you just sit there, like you start hearing things that you just never heard before. And it's almost like, man, this is harder than what I thought. You know, my mind's already wondering. And then I keep hearing this cricket over here in the corner, right? It's a fly flying by my head, you know, a gnat or whatever. You can hear, you know, neighbors, you know, unless you got one of them big homes, you ain't got neighbors. I got neighbors, you know, but you hear all kinds of things. But if we can master this, it's very, very helpful.
But that's definitely something that's been very difficult for me.
Yes, it's a challenge.
Every time I think I even try to meditate, I might get past like 4 seconds before my mind is just, my mind is just too busy to sit down in one place for 10 minutes and just try to focus. And I don't know if anybody have any clues on how to I don't know. I can't get around it.
I'll read a comment. Miss D. Brown says, walking and sitting still is so healthy for your mind, body, and soul. It is. It really is, because we lead such a hectic life.
Right.
But this hectic life that we lead is normal to us. So until you get into meditating, you won't even realize like how hectic your life actually is. You know, moving and constantly thinking about this, about that. Like, we live lives that keep things on our mind. And when you can break away from it, it does help. It does help. Now, again, I'll go back to my experience. I've meditated, like when I first started trying meditation, I would shoot for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, that would be my goal. I'm gonna try to meditate for 5 minutes. Now, I think in the process of doing meditation, you have to find something to concentrate on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I have certain things I try to concentrate on, repeat in my mind. If you don't know what you can try to focus on, you should go to YouTube. It's a lot of great channels out there that deal with meditation, give you positive affirmations that you can use during your meditation. I actually try to meditate on thinking about the Most High God. You know what I mean? And keeping my focus in that lane. And the reason why I do that is because meditation does kind of have a side effect. You know, like when you do begin to calm your mind down, like if you don't get it focused in the right area, it can also let other things come in.
Right.
Without me going down the rabbit hole, but you get what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, it's crazy that you said that, because even when I'm sitting trying to meditate, the first thing always comes to my mind, and I'm like, no wonder people be sitting around like, I'm in there. Like,
yes.
That's the
exactly. You got to have something going on in there, because next thing you know, you done opened up the chakras and something else then creeped in there, you know. So you know, I definitely employ people to do the research on meditating.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because it can go wrong.
I'm telling you, when I'm sitting there, like all kinds of things come to my mind. That's why I just be like, you know what, I cannot.
Yeah, that's why I recommend, you know, maybe checking out YouTube and seeing what some of these positive affirmations are that can help you, you know, during meditation.
Anybody have any helpful hints?
Yes.
If
anybody's got experience with meditation, let us know what you do. Let us know what you say to yourself when you're meditating, because it's very difficult to literally not say anything in your mind.
I'm looking for different routes at this point.
But it definitely helps. It's almost like a mental vacation. You know what I mean?
And I believe that.
So my maximum, I meditated for 20 minutes before.
Wow.
Yeah, I got 20 minutes in, right? Took a while to work up to that. Like, I remember my record was 13 minutes, because I had did 5 minutes, then I worked my way up to 8 minutes, then I worked my way to 10 minutes, then I hit 13, and then I skipped up to 20. But let me tell you, it didn't go as smooth as I'm saying, though, because in between that, I'll be meditating, just chilling. Next thing you know, I'm doing this. Like, oh, wait a minute, I don't think I'm supposed to go to sleep.
I'm supposed to be meditating.
Yes, it's supposed to be meditating. But yeah, it does help. So I can see how that would help to lead to a beautiful life, because it will allow you to slow your mind down and then put into your mind what you want to put into it. And of course, that goes back into what I've always said, that we have to become aware of what we feed our mind. You know what I mean? Like, you know, remember, you hear people say you are what you eat, or, you know, it's the same with your mind. You are what you feed your mind. So those are two very true statements. You are what you eat, and you are what you feed your mind.
Definitely.
So if you feed your mind just constant entertainment and garbage and gossip and all that, that's pretty much what you're going to be. You know what I mean? You're going to be one of those. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. When you wake up in the morning, pray to ask God for your purpose for today. That's very powerful.
Yes.
I mean, I remember us touching on this before, back in 2018.
I remember.
Yeah, and I just remember that, like, stand with me, like, wow, like, what is my purpose for today?
Yes.
Okay, so anyone in the audience, if you're one of those people that wake up and ask God, what is your purpose for the day? Please let us know about that, because that is very, very powerful. I don't think that's something that is normal, at least not that I've known throughout my life. We may ask God for certain things. You may ask him for peace. We may ask him for prosperity. We may ask him for healing for ourselves, for our family members, for our friends. But do we often ask, what is our purpose?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. And I love these kind of shows, because this will force me to get back to that. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I'm a work in progress too. You know, I need to get back to that. All right, number 4. Eat more foods that grow on trees and plants, and eat less food that is manufactured in plants. I'm going to read that again, because I just like the trickiness of that. Eat more foods that grow on trees and plants, and eat less food that is manufactured in plants. So now we're getting into nutrition, which is, I can't even stress the importance of nutrition. You know, like my nutritional research that I've done over the past probably 10 years, like it's led me to such enlightenment when it comes to nutrition and what it's actually doing to our bodies, what it's doing to our brains. You know, like what if I told you that sugar, I'll just take sugar.
Okay.
Sugar actually adds to you being aggressive. Aggressive, irritable, frustrated. Okay, now you think about, say, black communities, right? What, you know, we would see as poverty-stricken ghetto communities. Within all of those stores, they're jam-packed with sugar, right? Candy bars, cakes, this, that, and the third. These things are actually mentally causing people to become more aggressive. This is how important, you know, nutrition is. And nutrition is the key to everything. It's not about losing weight. It's not about wanting to take a bunch of pills for your sickness. It's about learning about food and then learning to work on your food addiction. I didn't know I was addicted to food.
Yes.
We're all addicted to food. We don't even realize it. We have food addiction. Cheese, in particular, taps into the same receptors in the brain as heroin. It's just simply not as strong, right?
Yeah.
So the same way a heroin addict has to have heroin, we have to have cheese. We don't know it. It ain't many people that order something, they say, would you like cheese on that? And they say, no, I'm good. Right? Everybody like, yeah, put cheese. What kind of cheese y'all got? We got American, we got provolone, we got, you know, we
give
get
me some
cheese.
sharp cheddar,
Right,
please.
give me some sharp cheddar. So nutrition is big time. And I think simple statements like this, you know, eat more foods that grow on trees and plants and less foods that are manufactured in plants. Okay, so when we go grocery shopping, right, this is what I've learned from some of these experts. I'm going to tell you about the way a grocery store is set up. And again, this was unbeknownst to me and probably sure everybody else.
Okay.
A grocery store is set up in a certain way. So to cut to the chase, the aisles contain all of the crap. Yeah, when you go into the aisles with the frozen foods, the candy, you know, the aisles with the spaghetti sauce and mayonnaise and all that stuff, that's where they put all of the crap. All the crap's on the outside and on the aisles. In the center is the produce aisle. You should be doing 70 to 90% of your shopping in the produce section. Now, if you think about it, I think most of us, it's the exact opposite. Right. We go to the produce section pretty much just to get whatever item we may need for that particular night that we're cooking, whatever meal's coming up, you get what I mean? But the bulk of the shopping we do on the outside of the store and then through the aisles. And that is actually where the worst food is set up. I always say if you go to a grocery store, right, most grocery stores contain a health food section, right? So if this grocery store has a health food section, what does that say about everything else in this store? Okay, if the health food is just in this section, you get what I mean? It's a bunch of crap, you know?
That's how I feel when I'm in like my best friend's refrigerator. Oh my gosh, I hate opening that.
What's in there?
It's nothing in there. It's nothing in there but produce and water.
That's a smart person.
Oh my gosh, put some food in here.
Produce and water. Produce and water. So yeah,
food in here.
Eat more live foods. That's a short way. When it says foods that grow on trees and plants, that's live foods, right? So here's some food for thought, right? Your body is a living organism. Okay, if you put dead things into a living organism, you cannot expect good results. Now, if you think about meat is dead. So when we eat a bunch of meat, we're eating dead flesh and we're dumping it into live flesh. That's why it doesn't give good results.
And I think a lot of people, of course, they want to do better as far as eating, but like you said, it's just that food addiction.
It's food addiction. We all have food addiction.
Everywhere you go, it's like the food is like jumping out at you, even when you're trying to clean up your act as far as eating. And every corner you get to is like food is jumping at you from somewhere.
That's right. That is part of the food addiction. Jerry Carson says, I love food, especially cheese. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, and cheese is one of them things where we are more addicted to it than what we think. Two of the biggest things that will give us clogged arteries, cardiovascular disease, kidney failure, Alzheimer, arthritis, what else? All these different diseases. You can eliminate the bulk of those diseases, right, by not eating meat and dairy. That's where the bulk of it comes from.
I'm trying to do
Next
better
would be
with,
sugar and salt.
Oh, I mean, it keeps getting better and better.
Basically, what I'm saying is just have water.
Like even when I'm trying to do better as far as the dairy, and I had my first hamburger in like 40 years. So with no cheese, that was just.
You tasted that meat for the first time, huh?
Yes, that was the hardest moment to say, yeah, okay, put no cheese on it.
Jerry says, why is all the good healthy food so expensive? Great question, my brother. And the reason why the healthy food is so expensive is because there's no money in curing people. Get what I'm saying? As sick as this sounds, what I'm about to say, but the medical industry depends on the food industry to feed us the wrong foods. So that way we can keep the medical industry circulating, right? You got to have sick people to keep the medical industry going good. So if you are going to get educated and learn how to eat healthy, they're going to make you pay the price for it. You know, they're getting us with the cheaper food from convenience and pricing. So everything's cheaper and easier to get.
And not only that, but isn't that kind of done on purpose?
Yes.
The prices are high because they don't want you to buy.
Yes, they don't
really
want you to be healthy. Right.
It's just something that's done by design.
Yes, I go through the produce aisle and grab my items and go up to the register, and I'll have $70, $80, you know, worth of food. And it's basically rabbit food, right? And I've seen other black people be with me like, I couldn't have paid that for that. And I get it. I totally get it, right? But I've been sick before, you know what I mean? So I know what it's like to be taken off your feet and be sick behind food. And I just try to get better and better at not doing that. So my brother Jerry, I know it's a little bit more expensive, man, but it's well worth it because none of us want to be sick, and that food will eventually set us down. But great question, brother. But we up on our break, so stay with us. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We are talking 25 tips for a beautiful life. We shall return.
Like the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you say. This shit bigger than me, man. Like yeah, I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all. What you up against, go hard, don't matter. Can you imagine how I really having nothing is? Stomach growling, you ain't got no food in the fridge. Surviving on a jail diet of water and bread. No father figure, that's cause my father did. Mom bringing different niggas in and out the crib. No money, so you seen this less than all your.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem? Ooh. You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. You know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up. But
allegedly.
I made it all up. But there was a rumor that they were beefing. But Tyler confirms that they don't have any issues. So it says it was recently reported on the rumors that was swirling that the twosome were on the outs over constructive criticism of a Perry show. Well, I got some constructive criticism, and we can be on the outs, Tyler, and I don't give a damn.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show. In case you missed the top, we are talking 25 tips for a beautiful life. So we just went over tip number 4, which is eat more foods that grow on trees and plants, and eat less food that is manufactured in plants. And we had a great question from Mr. Jerry Carson, which is, why is the healthy food so expensive? It is definitely done by design, and it keeps the medical industry fed. I always like to focus on teaching the black community that the diseases that we suffer from are always coming from food. I know that the medical community teaches us that it's hereditary, and your aunt had diabetes, and your father and your uncles, and of course we believe it because we put our trust in the medical community. But at this stage in the game, 2019, it is also time for us to start putting trust in other black people who deliver different information. And I'm not saying you have to believe everybody when you hear something. You don't even have to believe Brother Mike. But do the research, and that's how you'll find out who's right and who's wrong, because they have been feeding us incorrect information. Your diabetes, your cardiovascular disease, your kidney disease, your whatever disease that you have, it is not hereditary based on genetics. What is hereditary is your eating habits, okay? So the reason why it's in your family is because everybody eats the same food, right? And these are some of the things that they've been hiding from us. So change the way you eat, live a healthy life. I'm a testament to it myself. I'm still a work in progress, but I've changed the way that I eat. I'm more vegan and vegetarian than anything. Every now and then I slip in a little piece of meat here and there, but overall, I try to stay away from those type of things. It's made me healthier. I did not focus on losing weight. I focused on the nutrition, which is what I was taught. The weight will fall off on its own. Unbeknownst to us, your body knows exactly what it wants to weigh. You don't have to focus on losing weight. Focus on nutrition and eating better, and watch your body determine the weight that it wants to weigh.
Right.
So that's my tip on that. All right, let's move on to number 5. So number 5 says, try to make at least 3 people smile each day. I think I do that. How about you?
I do too.
Yeah. Is that something anyone in the audience actively concerns themselves about? I'm going to make somebody smile today. But you know what? It is. Let me say something. Shout out to Miss D Brown. I think you fit this to the T. I'm actually friends with her on Facebook, and she puts up a positive message almost every day. So that means, Miss Brown, you are definitely attempting to make people smile. So I can honestly say I do know someone who does that. So shout out to Miss D Brown. You get a bell for that. But who else really thinks about that? Like, I put a positive message up from time to time, but some people pretty much do it all the time. It's all throughout their feed, and I think that's them attempting to make people smile.
Right.
I'm kind of a jokester. I tell little jokes. I'm a little sarcastic. I mean, that's what they say. I don't really know. Or is that me being sarcastic right now? I had somebody say to me one time, you know what, Mike, you're a smart ass. I said, okay. What's next? Okay. What's next? So try to make at least 3 people smile each day. That's a way to give yourself a beautiful life. I think that fits into be the change that you want to see.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Be the change that you want to see. All right, number 6. Don't waste your precious energy on gossip, energy vampires, issues of the past, negative thoughts, or things you cannot control. Instead, invest your energy in the positive present moment. Oh, my allergies is really messing with my eyes. Okay. I'm still here, though. I'm still here. All right. So what do we think about that one?
Definitely don't waste no type of energy on gossip and all of that drama.
Is it easier said than done?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easier said than done?
I think it is.
Because a lot of times it could be people you love, family members.
I know, but if you're just not of that nature, it's still easy to stay away from it.
Okay. Well, that's definitely something we need to try to stay away from.
Yeah, a lot of times when you get, even when you've been away from it for so long and you hear it. You don't, if you're a person of that nature, you just don't want anything to do with it. A lot of people say they get drawn into it because they just want to be a part of it. Some people just like it.
I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I hadn't seen him in a long time. And evidently he hasn't evolved, you know, so congratulations to him on that. And in the process of the conversation, he spoke on that. He said, sometimes I feel like I'm being rude because, you know, I get around people I haven't seen in a long time and their conversation isn't the conversation I want to participate in. Yeah. So I find a way to exit. He said, but then I kind of feel bad because I don't want them thinking it's not that I didn't enjoy seeing you and talking to you. It's just that the conversation you was having, I didn't want to participate in. And I was just so impressed. I said, brother, my hat is off to you. Because it's easier to say you can do that than actually do it.
And to me, like, see, because and I think that's bad when, you know, the good people have to even think like that, to be like, I feel bad because I don't want them. The ones who doing it should feel bad. They should feel bad because they should be saying like, gosh, I hope it wasn't something I said to make him exit this conversation. Right. Let them feel bad. They don't.
I think sometimes it's so normal in certain segments of the black community. You get what I mean? I don't even think that like participants always know that they're actually being negative. You get what I mean? Like it's just kind of normal conversation to say, oh, you know, this person did, I heard this, I heard that. You know, because it's what we call juicy gossip, right? And we live in a society that actually feeds it. You know what I mean? We have outlets that deal with gossip. They had a show called Gossip Girl.
I know, but I think most of the ones who do it, I think they know.
You think they know? I think some of them may not be aware of it.
I think they are aware. I think most of them are aware, and they just like to do it.
Let's read a comment. Miss Brown says, don't waste energy on negative people or places or things. Surround yourself with positive, uplifting people. Remove yourself immediately from the negative energy. Yes, that's a very positive tip. What I have found, and please share your experiences if it's something different. I have found that like sometimes when people get around more positive people, they actually get a little intimidated because they feel like they don't have that vibe yet, you know, that vibe, or they don't know how to carry that conversation. Right. You know what I mean? Like sometimes within our community, some of us, that's the only conversation we know. So when they get around conversation that's not gossip or about entertainment or slandering someone else, and it's a positive conversation, they talking about making moves or trying to do this, trying to do that. I've seen people get uncomfortable. And then, you know, because they feel they can't relate to the conversation, they kind of walk away. Now, at that moment, I don't think they're thinking, you know, I can't relate to this because I only do negative conversations. They're just feeling, I can't relate to this. Like, you know, they were in there talking about real estate and, you know, trying to combine their money together to do this and do that. Like, man, I just want a beer. You get what I mean?
Well, okay, and I understand that.
You see where I'm coming from?
Absolutely. And those are the same, because those are the same people that'll be like, you know, I can't be around that person. They just too fake. Like, why you have to be fake to be positive? Why can't the negative people be the fake ones?
Right.
Why the good energy positive people have to be?
You know what? I think I got an answer for that.
I need to know.
Because people tend to believe something to be true when it's negative, versus when you tell them something positive, they want proof of the positivity. They want proof that it's true is what I mean. You get what I'm saying? If you say something negative, they're quicker to believe it to be truth. No proof. Whereas no proof. Whereas if you say something positive, it's like, well, how you know that? You know, where you get that information from? So I think that might be a part of that. But stay with us. We up on another break. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We will be back after this station identification break. Stay with us.
That's that food they eat.
That's that sugar intake.
That food that you drinking.
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste. I've been bad, burned, then fucked over. But remain strong through the Passover. Kicking haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me that let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, don't panic, I hot seat. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I beat the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator. But I can't save it, it'll be too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry figures, always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
You're now listening to Be.
Okay, so we are back, everyone, at the BBD Radio Show, talking 25 tips for a beautiful life. We just went over tip number 6, which was don't waste your precious energy on gossip, energy vampires, issues of the past, negative thoughts, or things you cannot control. Instead, invest your energy in positive, present moments. Let's talk about issues of the past. My experience with issues of the past is not limited to just someone speaking on something someone done wrong to them in the past. Of course, there's that, right? People holding on to things. But I've also come across people who, like, they have issues about the past, about things they learned now, and they say, I wish I would have known this when I was 25. I come across that a lot. You know, it's like regrets.
Right.
You get what I mean? Like, oh, if I would have known this when I was 25, you know, I would have did this, I would have did that.
Yeah, but is that really true? Is it really true? Because at the same time, you were still in your younger state of mind.
Yes.
So even now that you are older, and this is what your older self is saying, like, oh, if I'd have known it at 25, this is what. But is that really true? Like,
yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if it is.
I think we live and learn. Like, that's the purpose of life.
Right.
You know how when you get up and say, like, praying, you know, for your purpose, it's the purpose. You live, you learn. So when you know better, you just do better. We are supposed to evolve. So as we're growing, we're learning and evolving. So I wouldn't really concentrate or focus too much if when you learn something, be like, I wish I would have known it at 20, so I could have. That's just the if, maybe, would have, could have thing. You really don't know because you still would have been in your younger state of mind.
Yeah, so. I'm kind of with you on that. I believe that you learn certain things in life at the time that you are mentally able to process it. You get what I mean? Like, you could give a 25-year-old information that a 45-year-old has. It doesn't mean they're going to be able to process it the same way. I was just reading a particular book written by Robert Kiyosaki, and in the book he was explaining how, like, younger folks, you know, can't process certain things that we think they can, but they've never been our age before. They've never been old. You know what I'm saying? Not that we're old, but they've never been older, right? So they don't know what it's like to have certain years of life on them, certain experiences that came with that life to make them now take this information that much seriouser, right?
Absolutely.
So I believe you received information at the time you were supposed to receive it, and I don't have those regrets. You know what I mean? Like, I don't never learn something and look back like, oh, I wish I would have known this when I was 30, you know? No, I mean, you know, I knew what I knew at 30. I knew what I knew at 40, right? You know, and I think my focus tends to be more on that I got it now. So let me see what I can do with it now. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what I can do with it now.
I was just talking to a young lady. She's still a young lady. The other day at work, and we was talking about things that we know now. And she sort of made this statement, like, she wish she would have known the things back in her younger years that she knows now. So I kind of stole your story a little bit, and I was like, you know, remember Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders, you know, that's my at 66.
And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. So
I use that all the time.
Late. So I had to like dig and go use that.
Yes.
So thank you.
Feel free to use that one, because
make her know and understand that, you know, it's not too late.
It's not too late.
Have a dream, you can still fulfill it.
It's not too late, and that is definitely, in case you guys don't know what she's talking about, I often refer to this little piece of information that I learned when people speak about, you know, regretting they didn't know this, they didn't know that, you know. So the information is this. According to records, Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken when he was 66 years old. You get what I mean? So I use that as a reference to keep in my mind. It's never too late to get your stuff going in the direction you want, you know. So it's no need of dwelling on what you didn't know at a certain age, because focus on the things that you know now. You get what I mean? Focus on the things that you know now. Like I'm in my mid 40s, okay? I'm 46 years old. Men, we're allowed to tell our age. We don't care, right? But I have two ways I can look at that. I can look at it like I'm 46. Like, oh, I'm 46. Or I can look at it from the perspective that I choose to look at it, right? You know what I mean? I look at my father. My father's 70. My father looks at me and says, son, I wish I was 46. You know all the things I would do different if I was 46? You get what I mean? So I think that's how we have to go through life. And I'm going to be the same when I'm 56. You know, when I'm 56, it'll be a 76-year-old looking at me saying, boy, please. You know, I wish I was 56 years old, you know?
And now that you mentioned that, I would like to go a little bit, just a tad bit further on that. Now, you know how you hear people say, like, if, like, say, for instance, what you just said, your father, if he was 46, you know all the different things that I would be doing. Well, I ain't talking about your phone, I'm talking about, in general.
I got
like, is that really what you'd be doing, really?
Right.
Are you doing that now?
Right.
I'm just saying, for people now, like, you know, you're 46. And you know different now.
Right.
So does that mean like you don't do nothing you did before when you was 20 or 25? You still don't make those same dumb mistakes now?
Right. No, you're still going to make mistakes because life is ever learning. You know, like I'm still learning.
Saying, if you know different now, are there people who still doing that same thing? Even they know better.
True.
Now, but are they still doing it?
Some of them may be.
So even when people say like, oh, I'll be doing all this different. Like, would you really?
Would you really, right?
I mean,
and then, like I said, certain things you weren't prepared for.
Something to say, just to say it. Because would you really do it different? Cause, like, what's your excuse now?
Right.
Because you're not that age. You just say, forget it. You're not going to do it.
I think society puts a lot of pressure on us. Like, we don't live in a pressure-free society. And what I mean is society has rules. Society's got these rules that say, you know, at 25, you should be working on this. At 30, you should have accomplished this. 35, you should be heading to this. 40, you should have this. 45, you should have that. And like, that's been banged into our heads. So I want to say two things on that, right? First of all, number one, your life is your life, right? So go off of your timetable. And then number two, remember, this is stigmas and patterns that were put together by Europeans while we were still, you know, not able to drink from the water fountain. So with that being said, I don't feel like it really applies to us. You know what I mean? Like, you can't look at a black life and look at a white life and then say when he's 45, he should have a 401k with $110,000 in it. You get what I mean? And when he's 45, he should have the same thing. I don't think so. They live two totally different lives. You know what I mean? He may be in his 40s still trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life. The white kid may be in his 40s and already been put on a certain path. And my dad was a lawyer. My uncle was a doctor. You know, it's a totally different lifestyle. So, you know, I always tell people, don't get caught up on the pressures of where society says you should be at.
Right.
You are where you put yourself at. So if you develop that understanding, then you know you can put yourself somewhere else. You get what I mean?
Right.
Don't base it on the pressures, because society puts pressure on us. You get what I mean? Everybody feels pressured. Pressure to make more money, pressure to go to college, pressure to get a raise, pressure to get a bigger house, a better car, pressure. Okay,
well, let me just add to that pressure a little bit there.
You gonna add to it?
Yeah, because a lot of us, you know, growing up, we've learned a lot of things. We know a lot of things now. We've learned a lot of things now. So, with that being said, there's plenty of us who know about group economics and know that we should be participating in them more. So why aren't we?
Yeah. I think a part of it is lack of understanding.
Because you could talk to people, and there are plenty of people who would say, like, yes, we definitely should be supporting black businesses.
Right.
So if you know that, then why aren't you?
Right. Yeah.
Are you waiting for 20 more years of your life to go by to say, I wish I'd have known then what I know now, and I would have supported black business? I'm just saying. Like,
right. No, I get it.
Where does all of this end and stops, and we just...
It's all about education. I think right now we're in an awakening. So we need to be more educated on group economics. Like, I think within the black community, we're doing better. Let me just say that. Group economics is getting more known. Definitely BBD, we've played our part in that. We're the #1 brand for group economics. But right now, I think within the black community, we don't quite understand the importance of group economics, right? Now, in my perspective, this is why the Most High God is allowing us to continue to go through what we go through. Okay, this is a part of the rod that he's bringing against us to wake us up. Europeans have always been used as the rod of correction on us from God. A lot of black people don't know that. This is why God lets us go through what we go through with them, because he's trying to wake us up and make us understand we got to start taking care of ourselves. So I think as we continue to see these circumstances, like the little girl getting her locks cut off, you understand what I mean, to, you know, black women being treated horrible in these Asian beauty supplies. This is all playing a part, along with BBD and We Buy Black and Black by Popular Demand, all these different businesses that are trying to push group economics to make black people understand the importance of it, because we are a community of people that was placed on individualism a long time ago. And what that means is the average black person cares about themselves and their family. We've never been trained to do things that affect us as a community of people. All other races have. You know, whether you white, Asian, Mexican, whatever, they've been trained to do things that helps to push the community as a whole, push the race as a whole. We have not been trained on that. We've been trained on individualism. So as long as my family good, you know, my mom, my dad, my kids, my sister, that's all we care about. But the things we're being shown in the world today is helping us to get back. It's slapping us around and making us realize you're going to have to start taking care of yourself. Group economics, when practiced correctly, would have had that little black girl in a black school. She'd have never had to worry about her locks getting cut off. You see where I'm coming from? So it's a learning process, and there's definitely a curve to it. But I think the Most High God is trying to wake us up by letting this rod of correction come against us. You know, and I know that may disturb a lot of people, but that's my perspective on it.
See, that's why I love the BBD show.
All right, let's move on. Okay, I still want to touch on this sixth one, right?
Yeah.
Energy vampires. Like, what do we think of when we think about energy vampires?
I don't know. Maybe those who come, I don't know, steal your energy away. What are the energy vampires?
Yeah, I think that's the major thing of it. You know what I mean? Rather, you know, like you might have positive energy, and these particular people tend to take that away from you. Or better yet, how about if they put bad energy into you? Because remember, a vampire doesn't just bite you and suck your blood; they also turn you into them.
Right.
Ooh. Right? They also turn you into one of them. So I think that's a part of it as well. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to say, like I heard it before, facts.
Facts. All right, let's move on. Okay, so number 7 of 25 tips for a beautiful life. Eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince or princess, and dinner like a college kid with a maxed out charge card. All right, now we went over that one before because you said that one kind of got you a little bit. Yeah, so that's a good one. Let's do that again. Eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince or princess, and dinner like a college kid with a maxed out card.
So you know you're not pretty much eating nothing for dinner.
Right. It's basically saying that.
Dinner's going to be kind of a blank.
Right. So it's basically saying have a big breakfast, have a a light or healthy lunch, and an even lighter dinner.
Right.
So I'm gonna do it one better. I'm gonna add in the research that I've done. Right. We've been taught that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Right.
Okay, that's a lie. Let me just throw that in there. That is a lie. The most important meal of the day is actually your lunch.
Okay.
Right, because your breakfast can be light, you know. Some people don't even eat breakfast. They have coffee, eat a donut, something like that, right? But a healthy breakfast would be, of course, to eat, you know, maybe oatmeal or some fruit, have a smoothie, so forth and so on. Lunch is where you want to go hard at because you've burnt off the breakfast food, right? So now you need to replace it with energy that's going to carry you through the rest of your work day. So lunch, you're actually able to be a heavy hitter. Now, when I say heavy hitter, I don't mean go get chicken Alfredo. Okay, that's not what I mean. I mean, you know, like you could have a large salad, right? You can have a large salad or a sandwich that's, you know, a little healthier, so forth and so on. That's going to carry you through until you get off work into the evening. Now your body, after 5 o'clock, is going into a resting stage.
Right.
So anything you eat after 7 is literally just going to rot inside the body.
Right.
That's why they suggest eating something light for dinner. So you have a light dinner, and this will help to keep weight down. And what you can do throughout the evening is drink plenty of water.
And see, that's kind of where
Plenty of water.
A lot of people like make their mistakes. Because, you know, people, like I said, I think a lot of people want to do better as far as eating. So I think during the day, you're so concerned about eating so much. So that's probably when you're eating your lightest, because you're like, oh my God, I'm on a diet. I'm on a diet. But by dinner time, you're so hungry that you can't help it at this point. So you go to dump all that into your body. So this is why you can never ever see results, or not fast enough, or they don't last, because we're on this like backward scale.
Yes, everything is definitely backwards.
Yeah, versus just get up in the morning and just gone and eat a meal, so you won't be hungry by dinner time. So maybe by dinner you can eat less because you're not hungry.
And if you need to pig out during dinner, just make sure you pig out on something healthy. You know what I mean? Pig out on kale and wild rice and you know, some other type of vegetables. You can eat as much as that as you want. You know, you want your midnight snack, go get some fruit. Go get some grapes or oranges or apples or something. Again, you can eat as much of this stuff as you want. It's only going to make you better.
I remember one time when I was telling my doctor or whatever, because you know, we go back and forth with all this weight stuff or whatever. She's wrong, but I remember I was telling her, like, you know, Doc, I be hungry or whatever. And she was like, well, eat miracle noodles. You can eat all the miracle noodles.
Miracle noodles. Oh my God.
Like, you eat miracle noodles.
Miracle noodles.
You eat all the miracle noodles you want.
We don't eat no miracle. We eat ramen.
Anybody know what miracle noodles
I don't even know what that is.
Please let me know.
Yeah, what is a miracle noodle?
Tell me how they taste.
Miracle noodles.
Let me know if I can even eat these things.
I ain't familiar with that.
What are miracle noodles? Somebody, please, let me know.
We'll have to Google that.
Somebody
what is miracle noodles?
I know there's somebody out here in the world.
Somebody
That's my doctor. So somebody done ate those miracle noodles.
She ain't tell it to just you.
Please, tell me how they taste.
She ain't tell it to just you. Miracle noodles. Okay. So I don't know what that is. I'm going to say ramen. All right, so let's move on. Number 8 is, remember, life isn't fair, but it's still good. Not so easy to do all the time.
Right.
But I think that's something good to kind of get in your brain.
I think that's a good statement, too.
Right.
And I think it's true. Life isn't fair, but it's still a good life.
It's still a good life. I've learned to, in my older years, I've learned to let go of things I can't control.
Right.
Like, even when it does get me upset. You know what I mean? Like, I was a little upset the other day, right? I won't go into why, but I was just a little upset. And I sat in the car, and I was driving, and I just didn't say anything. I just sat in the car. The person that was in the car with me was like, Brother Mike, you all right? I said, I'm all right. I'm just a little frustrated right now, a little bit pissed off, you know, but I'm taking this away. I'm going to control this.
Right.
Just give me 5 or 10 minutes. So it took about 10 minutes before I got my mind back, and I said, you know what? I can't control that. Let me just let that go because it's about to ruin my day. And I was on my way to an event. I'm going to an event pissed off. I said, I got to change this. I can't do this. So that's what I thought to myself. What happened was unfair, but life is still good. No big deal. Okay, so we're going to stop right there on that break. Remember that, though. Life is unfair, but it's still good. We'll be back after this break, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. Yes, it's still good. Stay with us. Stay with us. Yeah, I was
You're now listening to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
We need to relearn what it is to be these bosses and how we conduct ourselves as business-minded individuals and just people in general. I let my gut, and if I call it gut or God or whatever, I'm led by that energy. I know where it comes from. I know where it's, taking me, and you have to figure out what is important to you, and don't play this game. It's a game that we've learned to play, this chess game, and life is not a chess game. Life is real, bones, flesh, blood, decisions.
Make sure you check out the Artist Exchange Show every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Far into this unknown to find who we really are. Crash into something new. Take a break from our broken heart. Talk with the hip, tell me you lie.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show. Excuse me a minute, I dropped my mic. Hope y'all can still hear me. So, let me put this straight. All right, there we go. So we're still going over the 25 tips for a beautiful life. We just went over number 8, which was remember life isn't fair, but it's still good. I know that one is easier for me to say than it is for us to actually do, but try to remember that. I try to remember it. Okay, I want to say this the right way so it doesn't seem harsh, but like there's always people in worse situations than you.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, really upset about some things that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And what I said to him actually helped him because he never looked at it this way. I was just like, well, I know what you're dealing with, but hey, at least you're healthy. At least your arms work, your legs work, you're not in a wheelchair,
right,
so forth and so on. And he just looked at me like, yeah, I guess you got a point. I said, yeah, you are still in a state of mental health and mental physicalness where you was able to get mad and storm out that front door and slam it. Everybody can't do that.
Right.
Everybody can't do that, right?
No.
So let's just try to focus on that,
And that's
I just don't want it to come off like I'm being insensitive about those who do suffer from those ailments, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm just simply using that as a catalyst to say things could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know
and that all goes into what we're talking about. Life isn't fair.
Right.
It's still good.
Right.
It's not fair.
It's still good. It is still good. It is still good.
Find something good about your life.
Yes, you can, and God does allow U-turns. Okay?
Yes.
Let me ring the bell on that. God does allow U-turns. So your life is still good, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to number 9.
Okay.
Okay, so number 9 says, life is too short to waste time hating anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive them for everything. Uh-oh, now we getting powerful.
Yes.
You know what? Before we get into that, though, let me read this comment. Miss D. Brown looked up Miracle Noodle.
Okay.
All right, so she says it's from Japan. It's carb and calorie free.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Miss Brown. We now know what a Miracle Noodle is, and the fact that it's carb and calorie free definitely is a miracle. So thank you for that. Now we know. Okay.
Thank you.
So life is too short to waste time hating anyone. Forgive them for everything. I agree with this wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people who've done things to me, and I'm sure everybody has, where you really felt a certain way towards those people. But I remember a long time ago, and I've said this before, I actually seen this on Oprah, where Oprah basically, I'm paraphrasing, was saying how we hold on to this hatred, this negative energy, and whatever it is that person did to you, unbeknownst to you, that person doesn't even remember that. You would have to remind them that they hurt you of it. So it was like back then when I heard that, I really thought about that, wow. They probably don't even remember it, but for me, it was so fresh, even though it was years ago, and that person's off living their life. So it's you're really pausing yourself. So I agree with this wholeheartedly. Forgive them for everything and just move forward. Because forgiving that person or those people or whatever, what you're really doing is helping yourself. You get what I mean? You're helping yourself.
And I agree with that. And with that being said, I have to go into the statement of do unto others as you want it done to you.
Oh, the golden rule.
And when it says forgive everybody for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will want forgiveness.
Yes.
And it doesn't even have to be from the person who you have to forgive. It could be from another person, somewhere else.
Right.
But either way, you would want it. So still. And if you want to live your best life ever, you don't want to be walking around holding on to anything negative. You don't want to hold on to nothing negative.
It's hard to be a happy person when you harboring certain feelings.
Yes.
Because even if you think that you're happy, right? You thinking, oh, I don't worry about that, but then when you see that person, your happiness gets stolen. You know what I mean? Because now you like, oh, I can't believe she's here or he's here. You know, if I'd have known this person was coming, I wouldn't have came, you know, this, that, and the third. The reality is you're losing.
And some people have to come out, and for some people to carry a grudge or to hold on to some ill feeling, some people really have to come out of themselves, out of their nature, out of their character to hold on to that. I'm one of those people. I can't hold on to certain things or whatever. I can't hold on to not forgiving somebody. Like, it would affect me, then it probably would affect the person. It affect me more.
Yes.
I have to let it go.
That's right. You got to.
I would have to forgive somebody just because I want to be the happiest I can be, and I can't be that way by holding on to something.
No, you can't.
I can't.
When I learned some of them secrets in life, like, I specialize in being happy. You get what I mean? Because I have to take care of me. I have to take care of my mental. I have to take care of my heart, you know, and the way I do that is by not trying to focus on that stuff, you know. Someone did something, you know, I forgive them. I think if anything, I learned something about their character.
Right.
Now that I may carry with me. I didn't learn something about you, you get what I mean? But I forgive you for it. I'm not mad anymore. You know, I keep it pushing. Number 10. Don't take yourself too seriously. No one else does. Right. I like that. Self-explanatory. Don't take yourself too seriously. No one else does. You know, I may seem like I take myself serious, but trust me, I don't. I'm very transparent. You know, I try to let people know, you know, I'm just the messenger of this. I'm still practicing all these things just like everyone else. I'm definitely not the master, but I am working towards being a master of my emotions. You know what I mean? And learning in life. I think one of my biggest assets in life is that I love to continue to learn. You know, so I'm forever learning. I will be a student of life until my breath leaves this body, because nobody will ever wrap this up and say, hey, I got this. This is what life's about. Because it's about so many different things. So just keep on learning.
Keep learning.
And in the process, I just don't take myself too seriously. You know? All right, number 11. You don't have to win every argument. Agree to disagree. True. You don't have to win every argument. I know I've definitely been a victim of that, you know, where I go into a debate or argument with somebody and my goal is to win.
I was about to say, I don't know if I like that one. I want to win all of
Yeah, I think most of us do. You know, I think most of the time we want to win, but we can agree to disagree. How about this? I've agreed to disagree with people before, and they disagreed with me agreeing to disagree. Have you ever experienced that? Because they felt like I was taking it out on them. You know what I mean? Okay, we agree to disagree. No, you can't just say that. You know, blah, blah, blah.
But you know, the thing that got me the most is I think I learned that you can't win every argument when one time, I don't think I was really in an argument. It was just more of a debate. But when the person told me, like, how can you debate with me when you don't know nothing on this? Like, what sources do you have to back that up or prove it?
Very true. Very true.
This is my personal feelings. This is what I feel and what I believe. There really isn't no source or information to back this up. So they kind of got me there.
Yes.
So from that point on.
And I think that's a lot of arguments that people have.
Like an argument.
Yes.
Because if I don't have information to back it up, I can't really go back and forth.
You can't argue your opinion against facts. Okay. So on that note, we up on another break. Stay with us. It's the BBD Radio Show. Yeah, you can't argue opinions against facts. And I think that happens a lot, you know, within our community. You know what I mean? A lot of times.
Listen to this flashback of Skyline Radio Show.
So where we at? Where we talk about the effects and what's going on in these schools. And what people don't understand. Just real briefly, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what people say bullying is or is not. So bullying comes in many forms. It's a teasing, it's the cyberbullying, it's the texting, it's the phone calls, it's the posting of pictures and people's personal information to pretty much cause them harm, to have them feel insecure. It's the sex assaults that people actually put out there. There are physical assaults, and there are mental assaults and emotional assaults. And what I like to remind individuals that any aggressive behavior towards anyone that is unwanted and unwarranted in an individual asks you to stop. Let's stop there. Stop.
And they should be respecting that.
respecting that and respecting yourself, because when you're able to respect another person, you're able to respect yourself. And the way that you're able to show that respect is that you know that you have a gift and you know you're uniquely made and that you matter, and then you also acknowledge that the next person beside you matters as well.
Right.
You know, and we lose that sometimes. Bullying is a behavior that underestimates the lives and legacy of you. I'm sure that when they was bullying me, and I'm sure when they was bullying you, they didn't understand who you're going to become later on. I didn't know.
Right, because I'm popping. I can't all right, let me tell you, all those people who felt like they wanted to say whatever to me, look at me now. It's like, no, y'all don't understand, but I've been through some things, okay?
And you know what? No. I applaud you and I salute you, because a lot of times we do not take the time to say, I'm okay and I'm okay with me and there's nothing wrong with me and I'm amazing and I'm blessed and I'm strong and I matter.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Skyline Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back everybody to the BBD Radio Show. For those who are just joining us, we are going over 25 tips for a beautiful life today. We was on tip number 11, which said you don't have to win every argument, agree to disagree. I'm going to take this a step further. I'm going to say you also don't have to go to every argument you're invited to. Okay?
Right.
See, so this is the next level. Okay? The argument itself, okay, you can agree to disagree. But how about this? You don't even have to go to every argument you're invited to.
True.
You know, because I've learned from some of the scholars that I've studied that within our community, often when you are having a conversation, sometimes, a lot of times, often, the person that you're speaking to is not listening to learn. They're listening to rebuttal, to debate, and to argue with you. So they're waiting for the first thing that they hear that they don't like or disagree with to actually, you know, say that to you.
Yeah.
They don't know that you've done the research. They're coming with their feelings. Just watched the video this morning with Sister Ali Shasarad, and she spoke on that. That's what she said. She said this has stopped the growth within the black community because black people don't understand the difference between an opinion and a fact. And you cannot change a fact just because you don't like it. And that's what she said. She was like, when we don't like something, we deem it to not be true. That's her words,
That's
you know?
not true.
And she was like, and it doesn't make it not true because you dislike it. It just makes you a disbeliever.
Right.
The truth is still the truth. So it's kind of along those lines.
I don't believe that.
Right. Bingo. That's the first thing you'll hear. Even if they don't say it to you, they might just wait till you leave and say it to the other people. Like, y'all believe that? I don't believe that.
I don't believe
you know what I mean? And nobody will challenge it and say, well, why don't you believe it?
Right.
You know what I mean? What is your grounds for saying that what that person said was untrue? So, yeah, I would say don't even go to every argument you're invited to. Number 12, make peace with your past so it won't spoil your present.
Right.
That's just words of wisdom right there. You know, make peace with your past so that it won't spoil your present. You know, let stuff go. Let it go.
Right.
Let it go. Number 13, don't compare your life to others. You have no idea what their journey is all about. Now, that's a big one. Remember earlier I was talking about pressure? This is where some of the pressure comes from because we compare our lives to other people's. And then that makes us either feel up or down.
Right.
We never really get, you know, we feel equal. You either feel like you're ahead of them or you feel you're below them and you need to catch up.
You've ever done that before?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I haven't done it in my grown years.
Okay.
Like, I learned that a long time ago. You know, I was probably 30 when I learned that, you know what I mean? So I haven't done that in years. But yeah, I was a victim of it, just like the next person. But I got a real good saying for this, right?
Okay.
So this is how it goes. When you compare your life to other people's lives, right? Remember, you're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel.
Okay.
You don't know their story. You know what I'm saying? You know your story. You know what you've been through.
Right.
So when you comparing yourself, you're going off of all the stuff that you know you didn't do right, or you know what I mean, so forth and so on. But when you're looking at them, all you're seeing is their highlight reel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Their highlight reel is always going to look better than your behind the scenes. you would have to know their behind the scenes.
Right.
And then suddenly you might not feel so bad. You get what I mean?
True.
So that's kind of how I look at it. Don't compare your behind the scenes activity to their highlight reel.
Right.
You get what I mean? And social media is a great example of that.
Mhm.
When you're looking at social media, you are seeing people's highlight reel.
I was about to say, and that's probably how a lot of people can get into relationship issues too, because a lot of people compare their relationships to
Absolutely.
Other people's relationships.
Absolutely.
What they think, because they're looking at somebody's highlight reel.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
They get themselves in trouble.
I mean, there are couples out there who don't participate in things, and they say, we can't afford to go to that.
Mhm.
And the people walk away thinking they're having financial problems.
Mhm.
No, there's no financial problems. They can't afford to spend money on that isn't going to bring them back money.
Right.
They don't spend their money that way.
Right.
So, again, don't compare yourself because you don't know what's really going on.
Right.
You walking away thinking they broke. They never said they was broke. They said they can't afford to go on that trip with y'all.
They can't afford that.
They got other plans for their money. You get what I mean?
Mhm.
All right, so let's move on from that one. Number 14, no one is in charge of your happiness except you.
I truly believe that.
Okay, so let me tell you what I think of
Okay.
when I hear that. I think about relationships.
Mhm.
People are in relationships.
Wow, that's a nice one.
Right, and they think the other person is in charge of their happiness.
Mhm.
You're not making me happy. You know what I'm saying? You like, wait a minute, I thought I was just, trying to make us happy. And that may fall more towards the women's side than the men, but men do it too.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like they get involved with a woman and they expect this woman to take control of their happiness. You know what I mean? And make him happy. Give him his PlayStation and let him use your car every day. I don't know. You know what I
think men
mean?
do it the most.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree. But that's what I think of, though. I think about relationships, people feeling someone else is responsible for their happiness. And I'm not saying that your spouse, your partner, or whatever, isn't supposed to try to make you happy. I'm sure they do. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your happiness.
And they're supposed to try to add to your happiness.
Yes,
Or whatever.
right.
Not take away from it.
Right.
More
Be
or
the
less,
happiness that you want to receive.
Yes.
Want to get. Be that happiness. All right, number 15. Frame every so-called disaster with these words. In 5 years, will this matter? Oh, that is nice. Let me say that again. Frame every so-called disaster with these words. In 5 years, will this matter?
Mhm.
That's a hell of a way to look at something.
Right.
Like that'll help you get over something quick. Because that is the reality of a situation. You can have something go so bad one year, and then a couple years later, you be like, I ain't worried about that. I didn't even remember that even happened. So that's a good way of looking at things. Will this matter in 5 years?
Will this matter in
Will
5
I still care about this 5 years from now? So that's a good way to frame disasters.
Yes.
Am I going to care about this? And the answer is probably not.
More than likely.
All right, number 16. Help the needy, be generous, be a giver, not a taker. Now, I'm going to say something that I learned on this,
Okay.
that it's true, right? I can't prove it to nobody, right? But it matches this. Now, remember, this is saying, help the needy, be generous, be a giver, not a taker, right? Okay, so whatever you want in life, an easy way to make sure that you get that is to first give that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. If you want money, give money. You want peace, give peace. You want happiness, give happiness. This is how the universe works. It will return it back to you.
Absolutely.
I found myself wanting things that I may not have actively been giving. You get what I mean? And it helped to change me. Because again, I'm a reader. I read. You know what I mean? So I'm learning this from these black scholars. You know what I mean? People who know things. And I'm like, okay, so that's how that works, right? And then I started pulling all these other things out the air. You know what I mean? Like when I see people with money and like they're constantly donating to charities, you know what I mean, and doing this and doing that. And I used to think it was just, like they're trying to make themselves look good, you know what I mean, while they robbing everybody else of their money, right?
Yep.
But that was not what they was doing.
Right.
They was giving what they wanted to receive. And it definitely takes practice to get this way. I'm a work in progress at it. But that is one of the best pieces of knowledge that I've ever gotten because I never knew that. Think about that. Whatever you want, you got to give that first.
Totally agree.
Yes, give that first.
Because I agree with what you said. It's like you're putting all of this out into the universe.
Yes.
And it's going to return it.
Right. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. And the universe is like, well, you got to give that. You know what I mean? Give that.
And the more of it you put out, the more of it you'll get back in.
Yes. And giving feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't it? Don't it feel good when you give somebody something?
Yes.
I mean, I feel good when I donate clothes. I feel good when I give people money. Now, let me talk about this giving people money thing, okay? Speaking of which, let me speak on this real quick, right? People come to me and ask me for a couple bucks. You know, you got $20 I can hold till Friday. You got $50, I'll give it back to you next month. I give it to them. You do not owe me anything.
Mm-hmm.
Take the 20, take the 50. You don't owe me nothing because I've learned this will ruin my relationship with this person.
Mm-hmm.
People are willing to ruin the relationship, the friendship, the family affair over a couple dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like Ricky Smiley said, that $20 was so important to them when you gave it to them. But now, when it's time for them to give it back, it becomes funky. You know what I mean? Here's your little funky $20, right? Here's your little stinking $20. Now it stinks, it's funky, all that type of stuff, right? But when they needed it at that time, it was like, man, I just need $20. I appreciate it. You know, like, I've experienced people actually becoming angry with you because they got to pay you back. You get what I'm saying? They off slander you. He keep calling me up about that $50. Man, it ain't nothing but $50. Well, I mean, at that time you needed it. You know, it was the biggest $50 on the planet, right? So one of the ways I counter that is if I can, I just give it to them.
Right.
They say, I'll pay you back. I say, don't worry about it, brother. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully, when I'm in a time of need, you'll help me.
Right.
You get what I mean? Because when you tell people, oh, you got to give me this back, man, next thing you know, y'all ain't even friends no more. You know what I'm saying? They've been dodging you for 7 months. You get what I mean?
Yes, and most of the time when you're giving, if you're a very giving person, most of the time when you're receiving back, it's probably not going to come from the ones you've given to.
Right.
It'll come from somewhere else.
That's right. The universe can shift everything around and have it come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still in the process of learning this and getting better at it, but that's my advice. Whatever it is that you want, give that first, and then, you know, you can have that coming your way.
Right.
You know, I want a BMW 7 Series. I don't know how I'm going to give one of them away in order to get mine, but, you know, we're going to work it out somehow, some way. You know what I mean? All right, I'll read a comment. Miss D. Brown says, be a giver, not a taker. Be the first example of what you want to receive in life. Absolutely, Miss Brown, and that is the point we're trying to drive today. So that's my advice on that. Give whatever it is that you want. All right, number 17.
Oh, I want to mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Brother Mike, but even when you just made that statement, when you said the Beamer 7 Series or whatever, just think, like, you're probably not going to have to give one of those away. You've given so much, especially when you do these radio shows. You've given a lot or whatever. That can just be a return.
Oh, thank you. I hope so.
You might not even have to give away a Beamer to
get it
back. So just remember, giving, goes all kinds of ways.
True that. True that. I appreciate that. You've definitely inspired me to keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know, one day I'm gonna come outside and somebody's gonna knock on my door. Mr. Harrison, we got a BMW 7 Series for you. Thank you very much.
They're going to be like, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And I appreciate you taking note of that with the BBD radio show, because I definitely don't expect anything in return, you know, for what we do. I know people think we probably making a bunch of money. That's not the case. We pay for this airtime to bring you guys this information. We do not get paid for this. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, so we'll move on, though. So number 17, what other people think of you is none of your business. Woo-wee! Come on with me, man. Come on, work with me, walk with me. Think about embracing that concept. What other people think of you is none of your business. I've said that before. Ever since I learned that, I'm not a master of it, you know what I mean? But when I'm in the right state of mind, and then someone says, you know, this person thinks that about you, I'm like, yeah, that's none of my business.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is none of my business what they think about me. So that is words to the wise.
That's very true.
Miss Brown said, I've been praying for your BMW. Thank you, Miss Brown. Me too. Me too. Me too. All right, so let's move on to number 18. So number 18 says, time heals everything. True or false?
True.
Very true. Time does heal
Just
everything.
give it a little time, and it would definitely.
It'll go away. It only hurts for but so long. It's like a bee sting.
That's all.
You know what I mean? It hurts pretty bad for a little while, but then time goes by, it disappears. You forgot that bee lit you up 2 months ago, right?
It's like you said earlier. In 5 years, would this even matter?
Would it even matter, right?
Time.
Okay, number 19. Okay, however, a good or bad situation is, it will change.
True.
Now, I think I probably would have to focus on the good on that more than the bad. Because like somewhere in your mind, you kind of know that a bad situation will eventually change. But what do we think that way when it comes to something good? Because it says good or bad.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So even in the midst of something good, it's still subject to change. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're only hot for but so long.
It's only hot for a second.
It cools down eventually, right? So I'm going to try to remember that more with the good stuff than I am with the bad, because I know the bad will eventually change.
And that's being said, because when that way, if you know this, then you would take more advantage of the good. When good do happen, appreciate it more and take more advantage of it.
True that.
To use it for future when it's not so good.
True that.
Goes to bad.
True that. True that.
That being said.
All right, number 20. I really like this one. Your job won't take care of you when you are sick. Your family and friends will. Stay in touch.
True.
True, right? That is very powerful. Excuse me. Because we do live in a society that puts a lot of focus on the job.
Yes.
What you do, how much money you make, what's your position, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, that job's not going to take care of you.
I think in life, it's understandable. People get so caught up with work because everybody's always, thinking money, and they think the only source of money is from working, which most times it is. But like they said, your job, when you sick, job not going to take care of you.
Seems like the more money we want, the more it leaves us. You know what I mean? The more we focus on money, the more it runs away from us, right? That is interesting. But yeah, I like that. So your job is not going to take care of you. Your family and friends will. All right, number 21. Envy is a waste of time. You already have all that you need. That's very powerful. Don't waste your time being envious of anyone else.
Right.
The only thing that I've ever found myself to be envious of, and I'm going to confess this, right? I am envious of the way other races take care of themselves. I want us to be that way. So yes, I'm envious of the way, a white person goes to court for something they probably should have went to jail for, and they just get probation. You know what I mean? Or at the job, they catch a break on something. Like at the end of the day, these people play for Team A, and they look out for Team A. I'm not mad at them about that, right? We Team B. I want us to have that approach. So I'm a little envious that we don't take care of each other the way that other races take care of each other. White people take care of each other. Mexicans take care of each other. Asians take care of each other. We tend to throw each other under the bus. You get what I'm saying? So, like if they pull a white person up about something negative on the job about another white person, they're liable to say, well, you know what? I didn't really see it, even though they did, right? I didn't really see it. I don't know that person to be that way. They look out for each other. They pull a black person up, they be like, yeah, she did it. She needs to be fired. She took all those gift cards. You know what I'm saying? So the Sheila Dixon thing, that was the same deal. Like, we don't look out for each other that way. So I am a little envious of that. I hope that we get to that point. So that's my confession about my envy. But stay with us. We up on break. It's the BBD Radio Show. We'll come back and we'll finish up the last 4 that we have. And we'll wrap it up. Stay with us. Yeah, I'm a little envious of that.
This bitch jumping. Okay. If I sit around, hold up. Look. If I sit around, hold up. Yeah. Rebel up. If I sit around, I'ma smoke some more. Wasn't even thinking about smoke before, but I'm in my head, I'm in the bed. Don't know who I am, like I'm wearing a mask. Working more time with a cat,
If you wear the cash, tell them where the cash. You playing for you gon' run it back. Don't make promises, but I promise that. Don't promise me, cause I ain't into that. Fell in love with that and got it.
Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
Period.
the real. Right. That's the real deal.
It's period.
Right. And all that old money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to. If the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week, you don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It is what it is. Radio show.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'ma show these niggas what to do with one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are down to the last segment of today's show, which was 25 beautiful tips to lead a beautiful life. All right, so we are actually on the last four, which is 22, 23, 24, 25, right? Yeah, last four. All right, so number 22. Each night before you go to bed, pray to God and be thankful for what you'll accomplish today. Love that one. Love it. Pray to God before you go to bed. And I think a lot of us do that. Mm-hmm. You get what I mean? So that one we might be doing pretty good on.
But it's, I'm sorry. But it's for what you accomplished today. Because some will go to bed or whatever. And I don't know if, you pray for what you did accomplish today. You might be praying for what you want to accomplish. You go to bed praying like, I hope tomorrow.
Lord, please let these kids get up for school. If they late, I'm gonna beat the hell out of them. Please.
Instead of saying like, thank goodness they've been on time all week.
Right.
I'm appreciative of that.
But you're right. That it does say that. Be thankful for what you'll accomplish today. Mm-hmm. So you're acknowledging to the Most High God that you're going to accomplish something. Mm-hmm. For that day, right? The following day. Mm-hmm. So be thankful for it in advance. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. 23, stay active. Stay active. Mm-hmm. Like whatever that activity is, stay active. Stay active in your life. You know, this is what we call minding your own business, mm-hmm. right? And you should really look into that because it's not just about what you think. Mm-hmm. Minding your own business means literally minding your own business like we know it, but it also means if you're a business owner, take care of your business. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not a business owner, take care of your finances. That's mm-hmm. minding your own business, right? Mm-hmm. Learn on how you can do better with finances, so forth and so on. Right. Mind your business.
Right.
Number 24, do something that scares you. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember this one on another show.
Right.
For those who know, I put a video on the radio page on Facebook, Back by the Man radio show page, where I was in the car kind of lip syncing, mm-hmm. To a Michael Jackson song. Mm-hmm. So if you guys haven't seen that, go to the Facebook page, Black by the Man radio show, check that out. But that's why I did that. I was challenged to do something that scares me. So I got in my car, turned on the video, I put the Michael Jackson song on, I lip synced to it and had a little fun. That's a little outside my wheelhouse. I don't like, I'm not one of them people that can easily do that, but I wanted to scare myself. So I think that's great advice. Do something that scares you. Read a book. Mm-hmm. Take a class. Come clean about something you like to do that you was ashamed to tell people you like to do, mm-hmm. right? These are things that scare us. Right. You get what I mean? Do the things that you want to do in life. Like I believe wholeheartedly in doing the things you want to do in life. And I don't care what age you're at. If you've always wanted to play the piano, start taking piano lessons, right?
Yep. And some people, it's as little as, because some people is afraid to just, dang, I lost it.
Lost your train of thought? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens to me too. I get it. Take time,
control, though. Something that scares people up. Take control of your life.
Okay.
Some people are scared to just take full control of, your life. So
believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself. All of us have hidden potential within us. We're all stars.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know it because we've been trained to be mental slaves, right?
Mhm.
You know, and just weekday workforce, take care of bills, take care of the children, the household, so forth and so on.
And
But there's a shining star inside of all of us.
yeah, and with that also being said, like most people, like society runs a lot of our lives.
Yes.
Society dictates this, society dictates that. It runs a lot of our lives more than we think.
Right.
So, and it's scary. It's scary to take your life into your own hands, but you got to do it.
You got to
Just
do it.
Have the best life.
And it's
Part
true
of-
happiness.
Yes, and part of taking your life into your own hands, part of it is educating yourself more on the things in life that matters and the things in life
Absolutely.
that you need to know. Instead
Absolutely.
instead of society telling you everything and you listening and believing everything,
Mhm.
you know, that society tells you.
Right.
Like, take your life into your own hands and start educating yourselves.
That's right. Start
A lot of
educating
people
yourself.
is afraid of what they're going to find out.
Right.
Because a lot of stuff, what you know, we're saying, especially the things you learn on the BBD show,
Mhm.
you're going to find out they are true. And so a lot of people don't want to believe that.
True. Very, very true. And it is scary to come outside your box and kind of, you know, do some things that you may fear others who know you may, you know, not approve of, may look at you in a different light, so forth and so on. You get what I mean? I definitely know that, you know, as being Brother Mike, if, you know, people who grew up with me, you know, family members, you know, like it was a little different for them in the beginning. Like, wow. I personally felt like I've been this the whole time. You just wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean? Instead of listening, you was just saying I talk too much. Or, you get what I'm saying? He's too serious, you know, this, that, and the third. So it's a little shocking for them to see the response from the, you know, the rest of the world who's in agreement with me. Like, yeah, these are things we need to talk about.
Yeah, if you don't take any of these tips serious, definitely take that one serious. When
Yes.
you say do something,
Do
that scares
something
you,
that scares you.
Definitely do something that really scares you. Do something that really scares you.
Yes, do something that scares you. And I will put these 25 tips on our patreon.com/BrotherMikeBBD for all of our patrons to have access to at all times. So number 25, which is the last one, and I think they did well with putting this one last.
Okay.
It says, surround yourself with people who share the same goal, dreams, and vibes. No more excluding family members and friends who bring negativity into your life. Recreate yourself. Recreate yourself. Like that. When you do that, you understand what I mean? Like, it's the best feeling in the world. You understand what I mean? I've definitely recreated myself several times as I've grown older. And all it was just the different layers of who I really was.
Right.
I just was able to let it come to the surface, but it appears to be a complete recreation. But it really wasn't. I just simply brought forth what was really inside of me.
Right.
So recreate yourself. Be who you want to be. I believed that I was Brother Mike of the BBD radio show. That's why it's who I am. I recreated myself. I wasn't always this person, but I was on the inside. You get what I mean?
Yes,
Recreate yourself. You are the lovely Miss Janice.
I am.
Yeah, I know that's right. Let me ring the bell on that. She said that real quick. I am. So yeah, recreate yourself. Be the better person that you know you can be. You know, if you always wanted to be that accountant, be that accountant. You always wanted to be a business owner, be that business owner. You always wanted to dance, go dance. You get what I mean? Recreate yourself. Be the person that you want to be, that you know you are deep inside. You are a star. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Come on out and shine and let us see your glimmer and your shimmer, because you got something inside of you that you've been holding back. But here at the BBD Radio Show, we encourage you to unleash it. You only get one life. Make the best of it. You get what I'm saying? Make the best of it. Make yourself happy. Don't spend all your time being somebody that makes other people happy. Make yourself happy, and you never know who you might encourage by taking those steps, because a lot of times people watch your moves and they don't say nothing, but you really are encouraging them. So I love that one. Recreate yourself.
Yes.
So that's tip number 25.
Not a big supporter of black businesses. Recreate yourself. Support black businesses.
Support black businesses.
Support BBD.
That's right. BlackBodyMan.com. So that's going to wrap it up. I really like this show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those who tune in later, didn't catch it live, I hope you'll enjoy it as well. So on behalf of the Black by Demand team and my awesome co-host, the lovely Miss Janice, I'm your boy, Brother Mike. You know what it is. I'll see you next Monday. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.
A minute and listen to this flashback of the Black by Demand radio show.
Control. They said she wouldn't, so they didn't know if she had a weapon. So it's just a mess. So yeah, you do have to have these discussions with your children.
You do. And you have to make them aware of that there is an enemy out there. Every time the police pull you over, or every time you have an interaction with the police as a black person, you are at risk of being in front of your enemy. Hopefully, it's not a police officer that wants to demonstrate that he's your enemy, but we all see it's a high probability.